now let's move on to Pat Mcduffy. Now, this is a curious one, because Patrick Mcduffy is a Trenchcoat Mafia member himself. And he ID'd Joe Stair. That's curious. So just a quick breakdown on Patrick Mcduffy. Former Columbine High School student, he completed his graduation requirements December 1998, so the previous year. Patrick had German class with Eric Harris the last semester of 98 and composition with Dylan Klebold. He stated he started associating with Eric and Dylan in the spring of 97. Patrick stated that Joe Stair was the first person to wear a duster to school. Stair wore the duster because it was warm and dry while smoking outside the school. Other members of the group began wearing the oiled leather dusters and soon obtained the label Trenchcoat Mafia. He stated the group's common interests were as follows: Rammstein, KMFDM as far as music, movies, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Replacement Killers, computers, strategic games, Command & Conquer, Dune, and Warcraft. Mcduffy communicated with the group through America Online using the name Romeo. So apparently, Mcduffy stated that he was in the chess club with Dylan, and he became part of the Trenchcoat Mafia in May 1997. Mcduffy stated that Eric and Dylan smoked marijuana but used no other substances. He said that Eric and Dylan could have manufactured the bombs in 3 days. That's kind of random. Sometimes they were Soviet lapel pins. Mcduffy said that Eric and Dylan were both very smart and capable of that destruction. They did some playful videotaping using mannequins. The movie was like Rambo, and it was filmed at their homes and edited at school. He also stated that Dylan and Eric had a computer site listing the things they didn't like. Mcduffy stated he heard that Dylan had an ASP baton, a handgun, a knife, and built bombs like pipe bombs and cocktail bombs. He indicated that Eric had many different types of guns and made the statements, "I will kill jocks and blow up the school." However, this statement was made during bowling throughout the year when everyone joked about doing the same thing. So let's drop some mind shocks, because Mcduffy said something very, very curious. So this is document JC001-010786. And this interview is dated April 20th, 1999. So day of, this is Mcduffy's testimony. Let's see what we make of this. I hope everybody's sitting down because this is quite mind-shocking. So the investigator here, Warren, spoke to Mcduffy, who stated that he had been a member of a group of students that hung around together. Mcduffy stated that he is not part of the group anymore, due to some of the kids wanting to do more violent acts. Mcduffy gave this account of each of the members' involvements in the account. Redacted, very possibly referring to Eric Dutroux here. Helped with planning the attack. Uses drugs like meth. Drives a white Toyota car or minivan. So he named 6 individuals. Oh, wait, a lot more than 6. Wow. And I've seen some names here that have never been named before. Most of them are redacted. So we have the first one, redacted, which I just read. The second one, Klebold, was at the school, has handgun, baton, knife, and built bombs like pipe bombs and cocktail bombs. The third individual, redacted, most likely referring to Joe Stair here, was at the school with a gun by the library outside the stairs, helped with planning the attack, drinks alcohol and smokes marijuana, has many different types of guns, sweep guns, and shotguns. And this is a short name here that was redacted. Slightly longer named redacted, most likely referring to Chuck Phillips. Helped build bombs and tested them at his house. Drives a 94 blue Honda Accord. Smokes marijuana most of the time. That was the fourth individual. The fifth individual, most likely referring to John Beecham here, helped build bombs and tested them with Phillips, was part of the planning of the attack. The sixth individual. Now, what was redacted here, Eric, last name unknown, this is possibly Eric Jackson. Of course, for those that don't know, Eric Jackson was also in the vehicle with Dylan Klebold on the Morning Run video on the April 19th. Part redacted, and this looks like it's in quotation, so it looks like maybe it's a nickname. Part of planning the attack. Stores most of the weapons. He transported most of the stuff to the school for the attack. Was at the school outside during the attack. Drives a white Bronco parked in the lot. The seventh individual, Harris, was inside of the school during the attack, helped plan the attack, and had many different types of guns, had said, "I will kill jocks and blow up the school." The eighth individual, redacted, very possibly Chris Morris, was inside of school during the attack, helped plan the attack, wrote letters, and made videos about violence. The ninth individual, redacted, very possibly Eric Alt, was part of planning for the attack, likes guns and violence movies. The 10th individual, redacted, very possible Robert Perry, was at the school with an automatic gun downstairs by a door, shooting outside, helped with the planning of the attack. The 11th individual. Now, the 11th and the 12th, it looks like he's just stating witnesses here. Their names are not redacted. Hooker ran past redacted and saw him shooting his gun. And Rush ran past redacted and saw him shooting his gun. Mcduffy stated that up to 4 students at Chatfield Senior High are also part of this group. Mcduffy stated he didn't know their names, but stated one is a big black male, 6'2", with short black curly hair. The other is short, 5'6", white male with blonde hair, skinny with a scar, 3 to 4 inches long on the right side of his face. Mcduffy stated that up to 4 students at Bear Creek Senior High are part of the group. He was at a meeting and met John, who has red hair, wears military boots with black pants, and a chain with a dragon on it. So he named up to 4 individuals from other schools, 8 individuals between 2 other schools that are also part of the group. Mcduffy stated that the group speaks in German and reads books about World War II and watches 6 Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Mcduffy stated that the group uses all types of weapons and play war games and use bombs of all types. Mcduffy stated that most of the group works at Black Jack Pizza on Pierce Street, and they meet in the parking lot most of the time. Mcduffy stated most of the bombs were made and tested at Redacted's house and up in the mountains. This redacted length doesn't match Eric or Dylan's name. And Eric or Dylan's name probably wouldn't have been redacted since they weren't earlier. So this is curious. So is this report dated April 20th, 1999, the smoking gun? Is Mcduffy revealing the truth before any narrative is established and before anything starts to get swept under the rug? Is he granted immunity for this? And how many of the others possibly granted immunity or simply not pursued? I mean, I just don't know what to make of this. So let's continue here. So April 21st, there's another interview, 1999, approximately 5 p.m. This is the Means and Holloway interview. While interviewing Jessica Ann Rush at her home, Jessica stated her boyfriend, Patrick Mcduffy, was a member of the Trenchcoat Mafia. Patrick Mcduffy was present during Rush's interview. Mcduffy sat back and offered no information until investigators prompted him. Patrick McDuffy stated he was in the original Trenchcoat Mafia with Robert Perry, Joe Stair, and Chris Morris. McDuffy stated he recognized one of the shooters as redacted by the description given by Rush. He stated he felt there were 4 or 5 people involved in the shooting. He stated the Trenchcoat Mafia often joked about bombing and shooting up the school, but nothing serious. McDuffy stated Klebold and Harris were both very smart and capable of this destruction. He stated he did not know they were going to bomb the school. McDuffy stated Klebold and Harris did some playful videotaping using mannequins. He stated the movie was like Rambo and it was filmed at their homes and edited at school. McDuffy asked the reporting agent if we had seen the handwritten note from Harris describing their journey. He stated Klebold and Harris had a computer site listing the 10 things they did not like. McDuffy also provided the following nicknames. Chris Morris was Grunt, Dylan Klebold was Vodka, Eric Harris was Reb. You know what's curious? There's a lot of information here that can't be verified, but a lot of it can, and he's giving accurate information regarding Blackjack Pizza, regarding their online nicknames. Is it possible everything he's stating here is true? He stated Kristen Theobald and Rebecca Nelson were also associates of the Trenchcoat Mafia. McDuffy stated Redacted and Redacted were the only 2 capable of making bombs, and he thought Redacted was most likely the bomb maker. McDuffy stated Dylan Klebold bought a shotgun on his 18th birthday. McDuffy stated that was all he knew about the Trenchcoat Mafia. A follow-up interview with Patrick McDuffy is recommended to clarify his knowledge of the Trenchcoat Mafia, its members, and his location when the shooting occurred. And this is the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. He also stated Chris Morris and Robert Perry would fight a lot amongst themselves, but not with other students. Chuck was identified as Charles Phillips. McDuffy was in chess club with Dylan. Okay. McDuffy thought Redacted and Redacted would be the ones to commit such a violent act. He suspected them until suspect identification was made. So he's clearly stating 2 other individuals, not Eric or Dylan, were responsible. Even though he stated that they could be. I mean, who could this be? Is he really just talking about Chris Morris and Robert Perry here? McDuffy did not think Harris or Klebold possessed weapons, but stated Charles Phillips and John Beecham may have had weapons. In 96 or 97, McDuffy was in a car with kids from Chatfield High School when they went to a field and detonated 3 pipe bombs under tree stumps. There was a total of 15 kids in 3 cars. Chris Morris and Charles Phillips were the only 2 he knew by name. The Chatfield High School guys had 6-inch pipe bombs made of PVC pipe, which they placed in holes under the stumps. Everyone had a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook, which is downloaded from the internet. Dylan has an ASP baton, which he carried in his car. The ASP was purchased at a security store, Southwest Plaza Mall. Dylan purchased a shotgun on his 18th birthday, either from a Kmart or Walmart. There had been loose talk in the group about someone owning an Uzi. This talk was circulating in late 1997. The group used to discuss guns such as the AK-47 and the MP5. When asked about who in the group could plan the attack, McDuffy provided the following names: 6 redacted names of various lengths. When asked about videos made by the group, McDuffy stated a video was made as a joke against the jocks. There was a dummy made out of pillows dressed in football gear, which was then assaulted by the group. McDuffy was home the day of the shootings and was not able to provide any information concerning the scene. But did he state his girlfriend saw them running with guns? All these individuals, not Eric and Dylan? One of these redacted names is very short. Could be Joe. So April 28th, 1999, McDuffy was asked to explain the statements referenced in Deputy Warren's report. So they're interviewing him again. So McDuffy, on the 20th, was working in Elizabeth, Colorado. He was installing windows for his employer, only known as Kurt. He finished work at 1830 hours, responded to the area of Leawood Elementary to see what was happening with the shooting incident. So is it possible he has a true alibi? Because he didn't get off work until about 6:30? Curious. But before, he stated he was at home. So did they verify his alibi? Report indicated redacted helped with the planning of the attack. McDuffie stated this was speculation on his part and he only meant redacted possibly had helped. Report indicated Dylan Klebold was at the school, had a gun, baton, knife, built bombs, pipe bombs, cocktail bombs. McDuffie did not see Klebold at the school, but he knew he had a handgun and a baton. He had only heard that Klebold built bombs. Report indicated Redacted was at the school by the library with a gun. I'm assuming this is Joe Stair here. And he has many types of guns. McDuffie stated that he had seen Redacted during the evening. Redacted was wearing a white football jersey with the word Columbine across the chest. This was unusual as Redacted never played football and had not been at the school for 2 years. And we'll get into the other members who hadn't been there for longer. Redacted had talked about having a street sweeper shotgun in 97 to 98. McDuffie indicated it was a shotgun with the barrel sawed off and flattened. Report indicated Redacted helped build bombs and tested them at his house. McDuffie stated he had seen Redacted with small PVC pipe bombs that Redacted detonated in his backyard, destroying trash cans. The statement about Redacted helping build bombs for the attack was speculation. Report indicated Redacted helped build bombs and tested them with Phillips. McDuffie claimed he did not tell the deputy that, and he has no knowledge of Redacted's activities. Report indicated Redacted, last name unknown, was part of the planning, stored the weapons, and transported the weapons to school. McDuffie stated Redacted drives Redacted around and possibly stored weapons in his white Bronco because of the space in the back. He has no knowledge that this actually occurred. So now he's changing to story that it's all speculation, but it seemed like it wasn't. Report indicated Eric Harris had many different types of guns and made the statement, "I will kill jocks and blow up a school." McDuffie stated he only knew about Harris owning a handgun, but Harris liked to own guns because it was his right. Harris did state he wanted to kill jocks and blow up the school, but these statements were made during bowling throughout the year when everyone joked about doing the same thing. Report indicated Redacted was inside the school during the attack, wrote letters, and made violent videos. McDuffie stated Redacted was not observed. The girls in soccer uniforms told McDuffie that Redacted was at the school with a gun. Redacted did not write letters but wrote some poetry. Redacted was on a video team called Rubber Chicken, which made funny videos about various subjects. Report indicated Redacted was part of the planning. McDuffie stated this was speculation. Report indicated Redacted was at the school with an automatic gun downstairs by the door shooting outside. McDuffie stated that he was told by Brenton Hooker that Redacted was in the school by the double doors to the cafeteria. Redacted was identified only by his build as the subject was wearing a mask. The subject, Redacted, was on the east side of the cafeteria and fired at Hooker as Hooker tried to enter the school from the west to rescue his girlfriend, Sarah. Last name unknown. McDuffie was told by his girlfriend, Jessie Rush, that the suspect who attempted to enter the science room looked like Redacted, but was also wearing a mask. And apparently they took his computer as well. He used screen names Romeo 23718 and Extreme 290. And they also list his passwords, Pimp for You and IQAZ. Oh man, these guys are characters. So that is the McDuffie situation. What a character. And who knows how much of what he said was true, and we have so many reports of masked shooters. I mean, it's just mind-shocking. Is that why there was so much confusion? Because there were several shooters, and some of them wore masks some of the time, but not all the time? It's weird, though. Why would McDuffie sell all these guys out if he was really involved? So it seems like he must have not been involved and just giving... Was he telling the truth? If he was really at work, and that's all verified, then it would make more sense that he was telling the truth.